The power of Lord Hanuman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. There's power, and then there's Hanuman power. And let me tell you, when you got Hanuman on your side, you ain't just walking, you're flying. Now, let's talk about this mighty warrior, this unstoppable force, this divine superhero, Lord Hanuman. This ain't just a myth. This ain't just a story. This is real power we're talking about. Hanuman's strength is beyond anything the world has ever seen. He wasn't just strong in body. He was strong in mind, strong in spirit, strong in faith. His power wasn't about showing off. It was about getting the job done. He didn't lift mountains for fun. He lifted them because someone needed him. He didn't leap across oceans to prove a point. He did it because duty called. Now, imagine this when Hanuman was a child. He didn't just reach for food like a regular kid. Oh no, he saw the sun in the sky and thought, that looks like a taste fruit. So what did he do? He leapt up to grab it. That's the kind of power he had, limitless, fearless, unstoppable. That I took divine intervention to calm him down, but that energy never left him. It only grew stronger. When the Battle of Lanka was raging, Hanuman didn't just fight, he turned into a one-man army. He wiped out an entire battalion, burned down a city, and still had the energy to deliver Rama's message. His strength wasn't just about muscles, it was about his will. No matter how big the enemy, no matter how impossible the mission, Hanuman didn't flinch. He rose. And when Lakshman needed a life-saving herb, Hanuman didn't just search for it. He flew across continents, found the entire mountain, and said, I'll just take the whole thing. That's regular strength. That's divine power. That's a force that doesn't recognize obstacles, doesn't know fear, and doesn't stop until the job is done. Hanuman's power was never just about brute force. It was about what he used it for. Every act of strength was fueled by faith, by devotion, by a cause bigger than himself. Hanuman's faith was his greatest weapon. His strength was legendary, but the real power behind it was his unshakable devotion to Lord Rama. Every action, every leap, every battle, none of it was for himself. It was all for his Lord, his duty, his purpose. Hanuman didn't second guess, didn't hesitate, didn't need proof. His belief was so strong that he knew if Rama said it, it was true. If Rama needed it, it had to be done. That's not just faith, that's surrender. That's complete trust. That's the kind of devotion that moves mountains. When he first met Lord Rama, there was no doubt, no question, no moment of hesitation. The second Hanuman heard Rama's name, he knew. He recognized his purpose in that moment and committed himself fully. From then on, there was nothing else in the world that mattered more. He didn't serve for rewards, didn't fight for recognition. He did it because his faith was pure, unwavering, and absolute. When Hanuman crossed the ocean to find Sita, he didn't doubt for a second that he could do it. Why? Because he believed nothing was impossible. With Rama's name on his lips, he had no wings, no boat, no map, but he had faith, and that was more than enough. When he reached Lanka, he wasn't afraid of demons, wasn't scared of Ravana, didn't care how many stood in his way. He only cared about his mission because he knew he was never alone. Even when he was captured, even when he was tied up, even when they set his tail on fire, he never panicked. He never questioned. He smiled because he knew that fire couldn't harm him, because he carried the power of devotion. Hanuman was not the kind of warrior who waited for the perfect moment. He didn't sit around thinking about what could go wrong. When a challenge appeared, he acted immediately, fearlessly, and with full force. There was no hesitation, no overthinking, no waiting for permission. He saw what needed to be done, and he did it. That's not just bravery, that's unstoppable action. When the time came to cross the ocean to Lanka, the other warriors stood at the shore, wondering how to get across. Some doubted, some hesitated, some feared the impossible distance. Hanuman, he didn't even flinch. He grew to his massive form, took one deep breath, and leaped out. No boats, no second thoughts, just absolute confidence in his mission. When he found Sita in Lanka, he didn't just sneak away quietly. He could have left without a trace, but that's not how Hanuman operates. He made sure the enemy knew he had arrived. He crushed Ravana's forces, burned the entire city, and left a message Rama is coming. That wasn't just a warning. That was Hanuman showing what happens when you stand against righteousness. Even in the war, he didn't just fight, he dominated. When Rama's army needed help, he was always the first to charge. When his brothers were injured, he was the one carrying them to safety. He didn't wait for orders. He didn't ask questions. He just moved because he knew that action speaks louder than anything else. Fear never held him back. Doubt never slowed him down. Every obstacle, every enemy, every impossible task Hanuman faced it head on, not because he had to, but because he refused to let anything stand in the way of his mission. Hanuman never saw obstacles as barriers. He saw them as challenges to be overcome. No matter how big the problem, no matter how impossible the task, he found a way to push through, break through, or rise above. Giving up was never an option because he knew that with faith, strength, and determination, no force in the universe could stand in his way. When he had to cross the ocean, it wasn't just about jumping, it was about believing he could make it. The sea was vast, the distance overwhelming, but he didn't stop to measure it. He didn't wait for someone to build a bridge. He just took the leap. That's the kind of mindset that conquers the impossible. When he entered Lanka, he was surrounded by enemies. Any normal warrior would have been cautious, but Hanuman, he walked into the heart of the enemy city alone and caused absolute havoc. He wasn't intimidated by Ravana's power, wasn't shaken by his threats, and didn't care how many demons stood in his way. When they set his tail on fire, instead of panicking, he used it as a weapon and burned down the entire city. The very thing meant to destroy and became the tool for his victory. And when the battlefield demanded something no one else could deliver, when Lakshman lay unconscious and time was running out, Hanuman didn't waste a second. He didn't know which herb would save him. So instead of searching endlessly, he lifted the whole mountain. That's what he did to obstacles. He didn't let them slow him down. He didn't let them stop him. He took action, found a way, and made sure that no matter how difficult the situation, he would not be defeated. Thanks for watching.